My son, who's the father of the children, and his girlfriend have serious addiction problems. They were neglecting their children. The children were the family was essentially homeless, jobless, had no car. They were bouncing around from friend's house to friend's house with these children. They were parenting 5 children at the time.
I was at the forensic interview for the oldest grandchild, and then they came out and they asked me, would you take him? I said, well, of course I would. I wouldn't give him up for anyone, I would. I love my grandchildren. Doesn't matter.
It happened so quickly. They called me up, did a background check. Within 30 minutes, I was cleared. I passed, and then I have a boyfriend that I live with. He passed the background check. It took him less than 30 minutes to get that one passed. And then they called us and say, do you have a place for this child to sleep? Clark and I just stared at each other and looked and saying, now, what are we going to do now?
We would have to go to churches with homeless people to go and feed them. My husband stayed home. He didn't, he wasn't able to go anywhere. But it's a big strain when you just don't have the finances at all. I knew where to go get food, but the thing was that it was clear across town, and I would walk with the children or I would take the bus. If I had money, I would take the bus with the kids. So I was always making sure that, hey, how can I get these resources? But when you first get the kids, it's like, what do you do?
I was on an inner tube in the backyard, retired. I'm actually retired. And I had to return back to the world of work.
They didn't have a home, so they didn't have clothes, they didn't have toys, they didn't have beds, they didn't have car seats, they didn't have strollers, they had nothing. We immediately realized that they needed to have these essential things that children should have. We didn't understand anything about resources and where to get these things.
I was 47 at the time, working 2 jobs and going to college at night. So I took 2 babies to daycare every morning, came back home, took my girls to 2 different schools, went to work, left work, then I had a side business, so I went and met clients, came home, changed clothes, got everybody fast food, and ran out the door to school, and my girls watched their niece and nephew.
Financially, I'm a single parent right now. I get $449 a month for 6 children. They go by my income. I get $431 in food stamps for those children to raise 6 children, and that's all that I get. And that's not including buying clothes, buying shoes. One need braces, $3,000. That's out of my pocket.
We had downsized from our first initial 6 children, and we had downsized, and then when we got the grandkids, we no longer had the room for them. We had a house that was pretty much paid off, and we were ready. We were on the road in the next couple of years to be done and retired, and just, if we had to have odds and ends jobs, because nowadays you pretty much have to with supplemental, but we had to go and we had to buy a bigger home. We had to take out a 15-year mortgage. We have to buy service dogs and special needs beds and special wheelchairs. We've bought 3 vehicles to hold a wheelchair that we never planned on buying. And wheelchair vehicles are not cheap.
We don't get child support, we don't get any of that. And to try and take care of these kids is a full-time job in itself.
What I need is for more help with the food stamps, to feed the kids, to provide cash for them.
I think we ought to commend those people that do step up to the plate and recognize them for what they do.
Right.
But I really think the legislation should focus on where the money should go.
There's something should be done for grandparents to keep those grandchildren together like that they don't have to be in the foster system. It seems like they could do more for the grandparents that's taking care of all these children. than giving it and putting them in foster care homes and all over the place and putting all the money there and nothing for the grandparents.
Help us do basically what we're doing. We're there to take these kids on because they're our blood, we love them.
I think there needs to be some automatic financial assistance to grandparents raising their grandchildren, and it needs to be provided quickly because the children typically are given to the grandparents without any forewarning or advance notice or advance planning. Therefore, that financial help needs to be made available very quickly. It needs to be much more than it is, and it needs to be sort of automatic.
Because both of our boys are special needs, seeing our youngest one, for instance, wasn't supposed to walk or crawl or roll over. He runs now. He doesn't talk, he's nonverbal, but he's able to have his talkie box. We've been able to get him a device, a NogCom device, that enables us to teach him how to talk. He's got a personality now. He's lively and wants to be around the family and is little by little getting out. Noah, our 8-year-old, we've seen him go from being so insecure from being in the system for so long and not knowing where his home was. And that's one of the hard things about being unstable and in the system for so long. They get an attachment disorder. And then they don't know, do they have a home? Do they not have a home? Are you going to go away? It took us 4 years for him to be okay. And just to see him know that he has a family now and he has a home and his home is not going to go. And to see how he's flourished in school. He's with all of the tutoring and the therapies that we've been able to get for him, how he's come so far, and his self-esteem has grown.
I went to go pick up the kids, and the next day we had to go to court. I didn't have dinner. I didn't know what I was going to feed the kids, and we're all happy walking down the street. Grandpa's pushing the baby. All of a sudden, this young man comes up in a truck. He hands us over $100. And that was our food money that I can go give the kids something to eat, our bus fare to go to court. But I mean, people like that you don't think that they're going to do something generous like that, especially $100. And the kids were all happy, and to this day they still remind me, remember, Nana, when that guy came and gave us $100?
The joy that brings a sparkle to my eye is when they wake up in the morning and they know they're safe and they know they have stability with me and they know I'm going to be there for them. And they're all smiles and happy every morning when they wake up. You see those smiles. They know they can depend on me. So I'm going to make sure that I'm there for them, and I'll do the best I can.